Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here, which is going to be a response to Adam Lee. He just put up a new contest. It's his 80 subs contest. So Adam, congratulations on the 80 subs. Love your contest idea. It made me kind of go and start digging through a piece of my collection that I haven't actually gotten to yet with the 30-day vinyl challenge, which revolves around female artists of the 80s. And what your favorite, I think the question was actually your top 5 favorite female artists of the 80s and your favorite songs by them. So yeah, Adam, congratulations on the subs contest. I know you're a huge 80s fan, much like myself, so it doesn't surprise me that was your contest idea. So I'm just going to get my answers really quick. Playing in the background, this one didn't make the cut, or this group didn't make the cut. So, but still, I've been listening to this album, actually listened to it a couple of times over the past day or two. I just kind of forgot how good it is. But this is the Go-Go's. That's what's playing in the background, Beauty and the Beat. And the name of the song that's playing right now is Our Lips Are Sealed, which is one of their bigger hits. So yeah, it was kind of tough narrowing some down because the Go-Go's and then Belinda Carlisle, as far as her solo career, they were definitely kind of right there on the chopping block when I was trying to pick my top 5, but didn't quite make the hump. But gotta love the Go-Go's. One thing I really love about this album too is that I don't know, there's just something about it where it's like, this is what vinyl is supposed to sound like. You know, that's kind of what I just get in my head about the feel and the sound of music like the Go-Go's. Just that whole poppy 80s thing. I mean, it's just like, when I was listening to it yesterday, I was just like, that is what vinyl is supposed to sound like. You know, it's just funness coming out of your speakers. But anyway, that's what's playing in the background. But let me just kind of show you my actual 5 picks I narrowed it down to. And I thought too, it was definitely a difficult question. So Adam, I might have cheated a little bit in the sense that I did 5 of my top favorite female artists as far as pop and rock, and then I did 5 R&B, top 5 80s R&B artists too. So I'm going to kind of answer it in 2 parts like that. Number 1, I automatically left off Madonna because number 1, I just showed my Madonna collection 1 or 2 videos ago, and then also too, I think, you know, Madonna, kind of like Michael Jackson in pop music, you know, she was so far at the top of the 80s game and everything else. I mean, I think it kind of goes without saying. So, you know, why pick the one that I'm sure most people are probably going to pick anyway. So I skipped over Madonna, left her out, and then this is what I kind of came up with. 1, I'm going with Stevie Nicks. Obviously, you guys know her from Fleetwood Mac, but I could just never get over her voice. I mean, it's just absolute thing of beauty. Saw Fleetwood Mac in concert about 2 months ago or something like that, and it's, again, just fantastic. So she's definitely one of my top 5 picks. Favorite song by her, without question, is "Stand Back." That song, as far as her solo career, and she had a lot of great stuff, but "Stand Back" is one of those songs that I don't know. Every time I hear it, it's just a groove in it that just gets me going. So Stevie Nicks will be 1. Next, I'm going with definitely a lady I consider to be the queen of the 80s as well, Cyndi Lauper. And this is, of course, a She's So Unusual. In my opinion, this is definitely song for song one of the best albums ever, whether you like Cyndi Lauper or not. But and you can see here too, this is an autographed copy. It's kind of nice. But yeah, I mean, just everything on this album is fantastic. Maybe with the exception of the last song, Yeah Yeah, which I'm not that crazy about, but everything else is just fantastic. I mean, as far as picking a favorite song, that's really hard. You know, it's hard not to give Girls Just Want to Have Fun the props that it deserves, but it's probably the one song by her right now that I listen to the least when I listen to her, just because, you know, it's kind of like the Stairway to Heaven effect. After just so many times, you can only deal with it so much. But that would probably have to be her best song of all time. But the one that I actually probably listened to the most off of this album would be, gosh, that's just hard. I would probably say either All Through the Night or When You Were Mine. I can't narrow it down to just one best song by her. So Cindy is definitely one of my top 5 from the 80s. Another queen of the 80s. Can't deny this, Pat Benatar. One of the more rocking women from the 80s. Again, a lot of her, I'm not going to say cheesier, but some of the things that were more popular for her in the 80s is not exactly a perfect reflection of just how hard, as far as hard rock, some of her stuff was, stuff that wasn't really popular in the B-sides and all of that. I mean, the woman could rock. There's just, seriously. And most people maybe don't associate the name Pat Benatar with that type of heavy rock, but if you really get into a lot of the B tracks she has, and the B-sides and that type of thing, the woman could do her thing for sure. But I love all her stuff, without question. So this is Live from Earth, and I picked this one because definitely my favorite song by her is Love is a Battlefield. Again, awesome bass line. I think great storyline within the song, especially in that 80s feel. I love the video to death. That Spanish guy inside the video that plays the pimp. I know, just watching him dance in that video, what little he did. The guy was just, you can just tell it is a fantastic dancer. And every time I watch that video, that piece just always captures me. And of course, you got the Pat Benatar, shoulder shimmy in the video. You gotta love it. That's just so 80s. You gotta love it. But so Pat Benatar is definitely one in there. That's 3. Number 4, I'm gonna go with my girls here. Did I put the right record back in there? I was listening to this. Oh yeah, I did. Okay. Anyway, I'm going with Heart. And so of course the lead singer of Heart is Ann Wilson. So I'm going to say that they're definitely one of my favorite female singers from the 80s. And again, so much great stuff. I saw them in concert last year, and Ann sounds just as good as she did back in 1985, 86, 87. I mean, voice has not changed. But again, just great classic band. A lot of good music up and down throughout their career. Still making good music today. Their new album actually is not all that bad. But this is probably my favorite album by them. It was definitely the first album I really got into with them, which is Bad Animals. Another one of those covers that creeps me out for whatever reason, and I have no idea why. There's nothing scary on there or, anything of that nature, but something about those colors and all of that, it makes my stomach turn when I see it, and I have no idea why some album covers do that. But this is one of them. Favorite songs by them? Again, they have a lot of hits, a lot of great stuff. I would probably say, I don't know. Maybe Want You So Bad. And again, that's one of the songs that really wasn't as popular as far as hits with them, but it's actually off of this album. And yes, that's one. I'm being on the spot right now. That's what I would pick. You ask me tomorrow, I'd probably pick a different one. And last but not least, my 5th favorite female artist of the 80s, as far as pop and rock, Culture Club, Boy George. I know you weren't expecting that, but one of the reasons why I'm kind of making a joke like that is because, I love Culture Club to death. Love Boy George. Again, just when it comes to that 80s pop, they did it as well as anyone. And the reason I picked this out like that was because, as a joke, obviously, of course, Boy George is not a female, but until I think it was like my 5th and 6th grade year when I was so into Culture Club, and I was listening to their stuff as well as Twisted Sister and all of that. I was kind of had a diverse music taste back then too, Billy Idol and all of that. But for the longest time, I was playing it, listening to it, whatever else. I had no idea that Boy George was not a girl. So I think if I remember correctly, it was my fifth grade year and fifth and sixth grade year, and going into my seventh grade year, a guy named Corey, I'll never forget this little guy named Corey, told me, dude, that's not a girl, that's a guy. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Boy George is not a guy. And so finally, I went home and started reading and all, because you didn't have internet and stuff back then. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, holy cow, it is a guy. So for 2 years, he was one of my favorite female artists, because I had no clue. So, I don't know, I just thought I pulled it out as a joke, just to, because again, for 2 years, he was a female artist, so I can give him credit for being one of my favorite female artists, because I loved Culture Club back then. They were one of my favorite bands at the time, but definitely Karma Chameleon is definitely my favorite song by them. Again, it's just one of those songs just has these very, very nice, powerful, in my mind, these passionate moments inside of it, especially with Boy George, his delivery in the vocals, like going into the bridge of the second verse. I mean, it's just, I don't know, those lyrics and the way that it flows off his voice and just the feeling that I hear coming from it. That song, again, it's considered 80's cheese or whatever, but that song gives me such a powerful feeling every single time I listen. Just a moving feeling is probably the best way to put it. It's just the perfect delivery, perfect harmonies, and love it to death. So anyway, I had to make that little joke based on my childhood lack of knowledge. So now, real quickly, going into the 80's R&B favorite ladies. Definitely got to go with Tina Turner. I mean, Tina's Tina. She's been doing it for decades now. Jeez. I saw her in concert about, that was probably like 9 years ago. It's been a while. But still, she was, fantastic. This is Tina live in Europe. One of my favorite live concerts, too, as far as DVDs go. She made a cameo in here with David Bowie, with Bryan Adams, and a number of other people. But, yeah, and favorite songs by Tina, can't pick that. I mean, Typical Male, We Don't Need Another Hero, Let's Stay Together, Simply the Best. I mean, there's Look Into My Heart. I mean, it's just like so much great stuff by her. So Tina's just Tina. Tina to me is the R&B version of Madonna's pop. In the terms of 80's women. I mean, she's just one of those women that has put out hit after hit after hit for so many years. So another 80's R&B ladies of the 80's, top 5, we're going with Janet Jackson. Again, a lot goes without saying here. Janet is Janet. She has made smash after smash after smash. This is definitely my favorite album by her, and my favorite song I probably have to say is Let's Wait a While. Again, just the simplicity, but the beauty and the melody within that song, between her voice and those piano chords and everything, it's just a thing of beauty. So she would be my number 2 80's R&B artist. Number 3, Evelyn Champagne King. And again, I don't know how many of you maybe know her, but her big hits were Love Come Down and I'm in Love, which was one of her other albums. And again, she was just one of those queens of the 80's R&B scene. And if I remember correctly, when I was reading stuff about her one time, I think she got discovered when her sister, who worked at a record label as a cleaning lady or something like that, got sick and couldn't make it in, so she actually snuck in and subbed for her and was, I guess, singing in the bathroom or something like that, and one of the executives overheard her and, hey, who are you, blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, she's one of the biggest 80's R&B artists ever. I think, it's been a long time, but I think that's kind of how it went down for her. But anyway, again, one of my favorite 80's R&B artists. Favorite song by her, probably the song Betcha She Don't Love You. Again, one of my smash hits from the 80's video soul era. Number 4, going with the Tom Tom Club, which, and again, Tom Tom Club, for those that may not know, was simply the band from Talking Heads. This was just kind of a side project they did. and they ended up coming up with the song Genius of Love, which is definitely, without question, my favorite song by them. Actually, when it comes to R&B, one of my top 5 favorite R&B songs of all time, period. And again, you would never think that the Talking Heads would come up with something that funky. I mean, it's just a jam of a jam. So definitely got the Tom Tom Club as one of my top 5 female R&B groups. And number 5, last but not least, Cherelle. She's definitely one of my top 5 80s R&B artists, a female artist. She used to do a lot of collaborations with Alexander O'Neal. You know, they kind of had a thing with it. They did a lot of stuff back and forth. And, you know, she had a number of great songs too, like Artificial Heart, You Look Good to Me, which is a great video I love so much. But I probably have to say my favorite song by her would be Saturday Love, which is also a duet she did with Alexander O'Neal. So again, another huge 80s R&B, great female artist there as well. So there you go, Adam. That's what I picked as my top 5 80s pop and top 5 80s R&B female artists. Again, congratulations on your subs. For those of you that maybe are not familiar with Adam, make sure you go check out his channel. It's Adam Lee, 2 separate words, and you know, check him out. And again, congratulations, man. All right, we'll talk to you soon.